how much debt you have, and then who the loan company you have with is the name of it?
Yeah, so I have around 25,000, and the company that I'm with is called Nelnet.
Okay. And then do you see your time in college being affected by your loan debt? Like, do you see yourself doing anything differently versus like if you didn't have any debt?
Oh, absolutely. I'm very aware of like how much I spend, just because since I am paying for college on my own, I don't want to like just go and blow all of my loan money, because I have to have that in order to like live and eat. Like, I basically live off of that and pay off my school at the same time. So I'm pretty much a penny pincher.
Perfect. And then do you see women having more student loan debt than you think men do?
I'm not sure. I would say probably that it's pretty equal. I feel like it just kind of depends, I guess, if they're paying for it on their own or not, and living off of it too.
Do you see like women tending to be more like penny pincher versus the men you may know, or like being more, I guess, aware of how much they spend?
Yes, for sure.
What was one of the questions?
What's your major, and do you have any scholarships, or is all of it loans?
I'm a business marketing major, and I do have the Arkansas Lottery Scholarship, and then I have a few other scholarships that come from the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. I just have those coming in. It's not much, but other than that, those are the only scholarships, and then the rest is loans.
Awesome.
Okay, and then does the loans that you have out right now, is that going to affect your future, like where you live, the kind of job you need, the stuff that you buy? Like, do you think about it in terms of that?
Yes, I do think that it'll affect me, just because some of the loans that I have, they accrue like while I'm in school, and some of them accrue like when I get out. So obviously I'm going to have to, I guess, kind of think about my purchases when I get out of college, like buying a car or buying a house. I'm just going to have to start thinking more long term when it comes to money, because while I'll be paying like car payments and house payments, I'll have to be paying off my loans as well.
Perfect. And then, I just had a question. Sorry. I was like, I'm going to hold on to this question. Do you see that, like, no, I lost it, I'm so sorry. That, like,
What do you think the hardest part about having these loans are, and like, what do you think would change the most if you had no loans and school is just completely free to you?
Wow. I probably wouldn't care as much about money. Like, I'd probably just go and like blow through it all. I guess I just wouldn't care as much, but since I do have those and I know the amounts and everything, and I know that I'll have to pay it all back, I guess I'm just kind of more aware of like what I spend my money on, and I'm like strict on myself. Like, I usually check my bank account like at least every single day.
and then did going to school here have any effect on like your student loans? Like, did your student loans, were you like, okay, I'm gonna have student loans if I go here, like more of them or less of them, or?
It really didn't affect. Well, really, I knew that I had to pay for like college on my own coming into school, but I guess I didn't realize how much college actually cost at the time. So I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna get loans, like it's fine, I'll pay it back. But until freshman year, probably the end of fall semester, was when it hit me that I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the first year, or the first semester, and I'm going to have to pay all this back for like the next 4 years. So it really didn't affect like where I went, because I just kind of chose, like I decided to come here. That was like my number one decision. But I don't think it affected anything else.
In hindsight, would you tell your freshman self like anything differently? Like, oh, don't take loans out with that company, or do take loans out with that company?
Yes. So freshman year, I was not aware of like the, what is it called? guess it's either like the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. So I didn't know that one accrued like while you're in college and one didn't. So I would definitely get the one that like doesn't accrue like while you're in college, because I think I have 2 of those. But once I realized what was going on, I immediately, like for the next year, I dropped them, just because I was aware that I would be paying more money towards those than the other ones. So definitely, I would tell my freshman self to not spend all of your high school graduation money, just blow it on everything, and to start saving freshman year.
Okay, and then this is my last question, I think, is have you ever thought about defaulting your loans? Like, do you know anything about it? And if you do know, would you ever, like, think about defaulting on your own loans?
I'm not sure I'm aware of defaulting.
I think, from my understanding, it's just like you just don't pay it. You report to the state, like, you don't have enough money to pay it back, and then you just never default. Or you never pay it off.
I don't know. Actually, I've never heard about that. I know that there's, like, a few companies that if you work for them for over 10 years, your loans will get waived, but you have to literally work for them for like 10 consecutive years. But if I could default them, I mean, if that was like okay to do, I definitely would.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to meet a certain criteria, and there's a lot that goes into it, and like I think a lot that can hinder you from defaulting. It's not like everyone can do it, or else.
Yeah, even if it was a long process, I would probably still try to do it just because I wouldn't have to pay it back.
Right. I think I did see that in the news too. Like if you move to Maine, they'll pay your like loans off. That was like on CNN the other day. It was so weird. I was like, I guess I'm moving to Maine.
Well, yeah, I might move to Maine.
Did you have to do any research before? Like, did you, at the end of high school or the beginning of college before you took the loans out, like how much research did you do, and like how did you figure out this whole process on your own?
Honestly, I didn't do any research.